Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. Filming live from a new location today. And we have our guest, Mr. Chaz Mazzota, joining us down here. He's so kind to let us use his studio. Welcome to the podcast, Chaz.
Hey.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Dude, I'm excited to be here. This podcast has been going for a hot minute.
I know you've been around for a while, but you've never been on the podcast. We were talking about that right before you got started. It was just like how whenever we see each other, the first thing we talk about is not like let's go do some work.
Exactly. It's not like, oh yeah, man, I was thinking about all these cool events that we can do. It's like, hey, you want to get some
You want to go get
you
some
want to go
food?
get a burger? Like,
Yeah.
Get a beer, vent about some wild and crazy artists bull that's happening in town.
Yeah.
Some dumb request that somebody sent because they didn't want to read the fine print.
Yeah, and then you get roped into something, you're like, crap.
Yeah, and exactly. Then you got to backpedal. You're like, oh, shit.
Let's see how I can go backwards, and then we can go.
Exactly.
But I start every episode by asking how I met the guests, and I don't particularly remember how we met. Like, it would have been 2018, maybe? 2019?
It was 2019. I know that because I got here in January 2019.
Okay.
But I'm like 90% sure it was like I went to this writer's round and I met a handful of people, but it wasn't like, I think it was like in Franklin or Cool Springs or something.
Okay.
It was like, I want to say a name. It was like Austin.
Don't know.
I think it starts with like a P, but he was like a red-haired guy. He was running the writer's round.
Okay. Man, I don't remember who
I
that is.
I swear this is where I met you from. I have no idea if it isn't, but I just remember there was this guy Austin P doing a writer's round, and then I met like a handful of people, and then all of a sudden I was in like a little community of people.
Yeah,
like,
I remember one of the first things I really remembered about you was I had taken a video of you playing at Belcourt Taps because you did an artist showcase. And you had like a trio or something play with you. It was like you or maybe two other people, but you did the mouth trumpet.
Oh.
And I posted a video of that on my Instagram. That was before like Instagram Reels too. So that was like IGTV.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I'd ever gotten more than 100 likes on a video on Instagram. And I was like, this guy Chaz, I like this guy Chaz.
We broke
he got
100.
me 115 likes.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, it's because, you know what? It was after we met. It was right before like the COVID thing happened. I got hacked and I lost.
You had a big following before.
Yeah, I had like 15K that I had built up through like I was doing covers and Instagram and all that stuff for like years from like 2014, 2015. Basically, right when they went to like 15-second videos.
Yep.
Is I was like on that gravy train. I was just like engaging with people. I was posting 5 days a week. And then no joke, like, yeah, I got hacked. Somebody turned it into like, it's like a weed account.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just sell weed from the.
Is it still up?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that sucks.
It's like every once in a while I'll check in on it. It would be like 200 of your friends still follow this account. I'm like,
you're like, guys.
That's like, well, at least I know.
It's like, are you 200 people following the right one now?
Yeah.
Do you know that that's not me? I'm not actually promoting weed.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Well, I don't know. Maybe I might be a little bit.
But yeah, you're back on it now with It's Chaz Mazzota.
Yeah, now it's Chaz Mazzota. But it was just Chaz Mazzota. I lost my name.
That's the worst. Like, I see those people who got like Alex Smith, and I'm like, how did you sign up on Instagram day one?
Dude, they must have done it. Like, I was sitting there trying to think of like, honestly, I'm trying to think of a name for the studio. I've been like workshopping it the last couple of weeks, like. With everything I'm doing.
What do I call it?
I'm like, what do I call it? And I went on Instagram. I was like, all my ideas were just like not available. I was like, all right, back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's like this.
So we are broadcasting and recording here in your studio.
Yeah.
When did you start building all this, man? Because it looks beautiful down here.
Oh, thanks, man. This place, I've been in this house for about 4 years. Me and my buddy Greg, he's out working right now. But yeah, and then honestly, the room that we're in right now, I built this in January.
Okay.
Because about 2 years ago now, I moved my mom up here, and because she just wanted a change of scenery. She also went through a breakup, and was just like wanted to focus on herself. I was like, come up Nashville, try it out, be surrounded by music, and just like live a good life.
Just hang out.
Hang out, do your thing. So she came up here, and she was actually living on this side of the house because my studio was in the other room, which has a door on it and all that.
Right.
And so I had this like makeshift curtain wall right here. It literally was just like a pull curtain with some like curtain, like, clip-ons.
A privacy curtain.
Yeah, and it didn't go all the way down to the ground. There was probably like a 10-inch gap from the floor up. And that was like her privacy for the first, I want to say, 4 months of her being here. And it was only tough. She was only supposed to be here temporarily and then get her place. And then she ended up having a surgery, so things got held back. So I just said, screw it. And I like broke down my studio. I gave her the bedroom, the spare room that we had, and I like built this like fake wall. It's a fake wall. I mean, it's there. It's a real wall. It separates the room, but obviously it's not like a load-bearing wall.
The listeners never would have known.
No, they would never know. It's not. It's real wood, but it's not real wood.
I didn't even know that it was a fake wall.
Yeah. No, I mean, as I said, it's pretty convincing, and it is pretty stable, and it works for everything that we need. But yeah, I built that, and then I've had to change this room around 4 times since I've built it. This is like the 4th iteration of this room.
So do you have a background in like studio design or anything? Because this like it looks good. I mean, you've got the sound paneling and everything. Like this is a bona fide like great like audio studio. Thanks,
man. I mean, a lot of it, like, I don't know, the tools and stuff are getting better nowadays. A lot of this stuff is like half of it is for function, and then the other half is for aesthetic. Is like because you want to make sure it's visually pleasing.
Are you telling me the greenery is not for for the function?
It's 100% aesthetic. There's no natural light in this.
There's no natural light in this
at all. All these plants are fake, but it makes you feel like when I'm down here for 8 hours or 10 hours and I'm like chugging away on live sessions, like, dude, it makes me feel like I'm outside. Seeing the green
tricks your brain into being like, oh, nature.
Yep, and I can flip on the, like the white light, which will kind of like wake me up if I'm too dungeony or something like that.
Yeah.
But it took a while to make the room, man. I think the trick is just like whenever you see a plant on sale for
that's mine now.
$5 to $8, I'm like, oh, it's like
you're like,
there's Starbucks, not
close
dude. I'm
enough
gonna
to the love seat.
Exactly. That was me this morning. I went to Home Depot this morning and I picked up, and I I showed you on the back patio. I was like, I just put all those plants in this morning.
It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's like I just want it to be fresh and like refreshing for me because like I'm a workaholic. I work 24/7 all the time, and if I'm not working, I'm literally like zonked in the bed, like zombie. I just been binging reality TV lately just because it's like an easy watch.
What are you watching? Love Island?
Dude, no, I just finished the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I haven't watched that.
Mom Talk. It is a straight up, well, there's a couple things. It's entertaining because it's like just straight
crazy
drama.
It's reality
crazy drama.
TV.
But at the same time, it was like a very quick cash grab. I felt like it there wasn't a lot of substance to it.
How many episodes in the series?
There was
6? 8.
So it was a short thing.
Gotcha.
Most shows are having like 20 series, 20 episodes in the series. But I was doing that. 90 Day Fiance. I've been watching that a lot. Actually,
I've never even heard of that one.
90 Day Fiance. It's where it's all about the K-1 visa. So it's like people who come to America, they get married and fall in love.
Right.
But my buddy, I actually have a good friend. He's been on the show. It's airing. They've been filming all year. He married a girl from Indonesia, and he's been out in Indonesia living there. It's 90 days the other way. And so I've just been watching the heck out of that show.
That's cool
because it's so crazy to see like your friend on TV or just somebody on TV, but also like they put real relationship drama and stuff in there. So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, bro,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Don't do that. Or I'll be like, or some of the stuff that she does, like, I'm like, oh God, Tata, like,
dude, I know I've seen people I know on TV before, but I have this like weird separation with the TV where if I see the TV, I'm like, that's all fake. None of that's real.
I mean, it's definitely like, it's like real fake, if that makes sense. Like they want to hype everything up as much as they can. but it's
for
real
an
drama.
entertainment factor.
Like it's real stuff that's happening. Like
Right.
everything. Like for instance, like in the show, like the 90-day show with my buddy James and Tata. Like that's all real drama. Like I
Right.
was there at their wedding. Like I experienced the whole thing. It's like it's real.
And you want to text your
But
buddy
it's
and be
just
like,
bigger.
so how much of this was drummed up by the producer? And he's like, none of it.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's just like, yeah, man, that's me. He's like,
Man.
though, you know, there's chops and stuff, but they're really just cutting time out.
Right.
So the main message and the point just gets shortened. And
Yeah,
it
you've
can be a
got
little more
to make
abrupt.
it like 22 interesting minutes of TV.
Exactly. You can't have the 5 minutes of them sitting there like, what do you want to do today?
Yeah, they don't
do you
show
want for
the real life of the Mormon wife is just, well, let's have some dinner.
Yeah, Mormon wives, they were checking in like every like couple weeks. In the first episode, one of the girls got like arrested at the end of it. And so they had to pause the show for like 2 years. And then they came back and then she's pregnant with
God.
some different
You're like,
guy.
surprise!
And I'm like, what is this stuff, dude? But that's why we watch it. It's so good, reality
I
TV.
have been rewatching old like TV shows. So I'm rewatching Malcolm in the Middle right now.
Ooh, I
like,
did that.
Early Bryan Cranston.
He's so good.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of being a kid because, like, that was, like, our generation of being 7, 8 years old, 10 years old was, like, 2003,
Yes.
2004 when it started. I'm like,
It's so relatable.
like oh, my God, like, the mom coming in and destroying the Lego tower. I'm like, ugh, I lived that moment. Like, that's me. I am Frankie Muniz.
Dude, one of my favorite scenes from that show was like, it's the episode where he does the it's the skating, and it's like, are you ready to skate? And he's like, everything changes. It goes into a smile. He's like, are you sure you want to take this step, son?
Just watched that episode.
It's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston is forced to be reckoned with. Actually, we've been reckoning with him for a long time.
Yeah, no, he's honestly.
Yeah,
he's
so
hilarious.
you've lived here now. It's 2024 for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Where'd you move from?
Florida.
Florida, SoFlo, right?
Yeah, South Florida, like Palm Beach, Jupiter.
Okay.
I say that, but I'm I'm from a little town called Hope Sound. It's like a beach town. I was a home birth. There's no hospital in my
Wow.
hometown, so the nearest one is in Stewart, which is like most people are there. So I'm like a real Hope Sound local.
Real home.
Yeah,
You're like, I was born into the hot tub, drinking my White Claw in hand.
Yo, White Claw in hand, hot tubbing. No, I was born in the bed, dude. Born in the bed.
So why did you pick Nashville of all the places? Because you don't do country music. You're a pop guy.
Yeah, I do pop, singer-songwriter stuff. So, I mean, honestly, real quick, if my elevator backstory is just that 16, I was playing bars with my buddy Kevin.
Mhm.
We were doing duos. Then, 17, I started doing my own and just kept that solid playing bars, restaurants, corporate functions, weddings, scaled up. And then I was in Orlando for about almost 8 years,
Wow.
getting very tired. Like I did college out there.
Did you do Disney College?
No, but I have friends that were in it, and it's an experience. But I love Disney and all that stuff too. I'm actually trying to plan a Halloween Horror Nights trip.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're down for that, I think we're looking like third week of October. I was like, So I don't know. I'll keep you in. We'll talk about it outside of the,
We'll talk about it
outside of the recording. So not everybody-
broadcast our private lives.
Yeah. But dude, I moved here because I was here in New York. So my buddy Brett, which you met him a few times, and he was living in New York, and I was like burnt out. I was like, I've been doing music freaking so long, 16 to 26, 10 years. And I'm like, I was playing these bars, making $150 a night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was exhausting because like, it's cool. It's like, hey, $150 a night. I'm only working 3 hours, but that 3 hours turns into 6 because it's like the
It's
hour
an hour
of
of getting
traffic.
ready, an hour of setting up, and an hour of tearing down and driving home.
Correct. And then also it's like, it's hard to like get into the groove of something if it's like, hey, like I got to go sing for the next 3 hours tonight. And then afterwards you're usually eating something pretty junky and or having a drink, and then you're getting home and it's like, not really. I'm zonked on music creativity.
You are the zombie that you seek not to be.
Yeah. Not to mention a lot of the gigs, it's like in full transparency, a lot of my gigs, I did BurgerFi's, I did Jimmy Hula's, and I'd be outside. So Florida heat, 90-degree weather. I got a fan on me, but I'm dripping.
You're dripping.
And most of the time, nobody's sitting outside because
it's so hot.
freaking hot. And so I'm playing to audiences of nobody.
Right.
Like, 3 to 5 days a week.
That
And
sucks.
Yeah.
That's not creatively or professionally fulfilling.
Correct. Which is why I started doing the video and the photo and also saving money. So I ended up coming to Nashville over New York. Sorry, Brett, like he was really looking forward to it. But a friend of mine, Anthony, who I went to college with, he's a drummer in town. And his whole family lives here. He had been living here for a couple years and he was like, we've got this spare room in my parents' house. Why don't you just try it out? And I said,
You're like,
sorry, New York. I'm going to go try a couple months free in Nashville and just see what I think. So, and I made the decision. I was like, I'm not going to do the bar scene. I'm not going to do the regular gigs. Like if I'm going to do gigs, it's going to be corporate. It's going to be weddings. It's going to be, and I ended up playing some really like funky, like graduation parties when I moved here.
Cool.
And I played at like, it was like, it was like Alan Jackson's old house. Some guy who bought one of his old houses. It might have been one of the other big country guys. I'm so bad with names. But
it wasn't the Alan Jackson bar. It was like Alan Jackson's house.
Old house.
It was his house.
Because the guy who had bought it, and it was his daughter's 18th graduation.
Wow.
And so I'm out here just like playing, Moon 5, Ed Sheeran, stuff to the Beatles to make the parents happy.
Right.
And they're paying me, I'm playing for 3 hours, they're paying me $900.
Which is way better in every way than playing to nobody on a bar in Florida
for $150. Exactly. And so and I made that decision just like, I'm not going to take the cheap stuff because I killed my soul on it. It killed my creativity. It killed all that. So I moved here. I said, I'm going to focus on the back end. I'm going to focus on creating, video and photo services for artists, like using my history in the studio. I was working in studios for a very long time, home studios to studios in some entertainment groups in Orlando. And so I kind of just took all that together, merged it into this, and now I'm like doing live sessions. I'm in shows all over the town, shooting for other people.
Very multimedia company that you've got going on.
Yeah, and it's just me. I'm just running a lot because I'm a workaholic.
Man, I feel that
dude.
because I talk about Tour Stop a lot about like the we don't have this, and then people are like, who else is it? I'm like, well, there have been other people.
There's people that come and go, and I work and honestly I'm so grateful. Like now it's like with the Nashville pop stuff that I've been doing, and then how I've been building that. It gives me a tool to like partner with others. Like we've done things together, and like the Blue House, the Artist Night stuff, and Eddie Echo, like the show we're doing there. It gives me all these outlets to kind of like be free, but like in a structured way.
Right.
Because
you don't have a traditional day job.
No, I'm full-time music, video, and photo.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
and that's really hard in a town where everyone wants to do that, and you really do have to be good at your craft to maintain that, because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm going to go live in Nashville and I'm going to be a full-time musician, and then they start selling their soul to some of those like cover gigs that are making $100.
Yeah.
And then they don't put together 2 and 2 on why they're not creatively fulfilled. It's because that's not what you moved here to do.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to play 4 hours of cover music every night. Like you moved here because you have something that you want to do.
Exactly.
And it's not play it at 1 a.m. at the Lainey Wilson bar on a Tuesday.
Exactly.
That's not fun.
There's a time and place for cover music too, and it's like, but I'd much rather like direct that, like,
that same energy into a venture like this eventually turns into the self-sustaining venture that it has become.
Yeah, I mean, it took me
years.
5 years. It took, and the first 2 years were basically scratched.
Yep.
Like with the COVID and everything. And also I was working and operating out of somebody else's house. So like I didn't even get my own space to breathe until 3 years ago. Or it's going to be 4 years come November. So, and just in those, being able to build and make a space and make a home for this stuff has been really powerful. But it's really tough, man. Like I used to do my lives as specials, and it would be like one-offs, and then I'd be posting in the Yep group, dude. It's huge on Facebook, like all these different things. I'd be out there, and I'd be out networking every night. Here's some free pics. Like, would love to come out and shoot. And then like I used to do things for $25, $50, and it's like the more and more you do that, you hang around town a little bit.
Then you can get the gigs to start paying $75, $100, and then you can get the gigs that pay $150, and then It
Yeah.
does slowly start because people love to ask about like Tour Stop and how Tour Stop has grown over the years. But when I started I didn't get paid money.
Mm-mm.
I didn't get paid anything. I had to buy my own beer at all my shows. And like it doesn't start good.
Yeah.
And you do have to bust your chops to get to the place where you just barely start to make some money.
Yeah. I mean, Artist Night, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't taken a cut at anything. I've invested in Artist Night for 2 years now.
Right.
I give free video and photo every Monday. I've only missed 4,
Right.
I think, in the last
That's
2
impressive.
years. Like, that's every Monday. I do it for free, and it's because it's a great cause, and it's something that it gives me a public space that I can be. But like, that's something like that's every Monday night, man. It's so hard to.
Yeah, for those of you listening who aren't familiar with the Blue House Artist Night, we had the band leader Tony Salamone on the podcast maybe 20 episodes ago
a
or so.
freaking
You can
king.
go back and listen to his episode where he gives a whole spiel about that night. But it's nice to get Chaz, another person involved with that night, to give your end of it.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that whole thing grow.
Because it's grown tremendously for them in the last year.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, and even the venue, the Vinyl Lounge, they've been like so great and accommodating at like trying to level up with everything. Like they've got the food,
Mhm.
and now they've got the crazy lights, and I'm working with the band on trying to create more of an advertising system so
Right.
that we can, monetize the night and actually get these guys fed.
Right.
Because it's a lot of work. Like that night in general is like we have
There's
know,
like 10 people involved.
I crunched the numbers.
Yeah.
And for real, it's like if we wanted to make that like a night where everybody who is involved on the crew,
Mhm.
who's actually there and dedicating every week to it, to get $75 to $100 a night, we're looking at $4K a month.
Yeah.
Like
It's an expensive production.
and everybody's doing it for free right now.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
On the hope that it will eventually be a
Correct.
thing that you can sell. But you
Yeah.
have to have those credentials to be able to prove that it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
And a lot of people show up, they're like, I've arrived, give me $5,000. And then everyone's like, who are you and why? And
Yeah.
no.
Exactly. And honestly, like I know we're going to get a little businessy obviously because that's what we do, but like it all comes back to like the involvement too. It's like the people who show up. Like a lot of people ask questions like, how do I break through the noise? I'm like, just show up, man.
Just be
like
present. Oh my
be
Lord.
present. Read the website.
Dude.
Read the website. Read my notes. Read everything. I have an entire thing. Like this, I don't want to rant too much, but I have an entire thing on Nashville Pop. You can scroll through it in the highlights. It says what it is. There's like 7 slides. Everything that we do, and then you just click the website. It's all on one page. You can read everything. All the forms are there. Everything. And so
How do I get involved? And it's like, did you even think to maybe like
just click the bio.
just read? Just read? Like, I still get that when people come to the shows, it's one thing, and they're like, hey, how do I get involved? Like, okay, you don't have like the thing right in front of your face, but if you're scrolling on Instagram, you're like, oh, this is a show. I wonder how I get involved. The first thing that should come to your mind is there a website? Click. And then you click it, and it's like, how to get involved.
Dude.
Like, it's there. The resources for success are there.
They're
And
all
I actually, I think that I hurt a performer's feelings once because they arrived late to a show, and
game over.
and they arrived
Like-
late to the show, and they were already late when they texted me, and they were like, "Where is the venue?" And I'm like, "You should have sent this message 6 hours ago."
Yeah.
And they had no idea what was going on. And afterwards, they came up to apologize for being late and everything. I was like, did you read the message that I sent to the group? And they said, no. And I was like, I don't send the address and the parking information for my benefit.
Yeah.
Like, that's for you guys. And it ended up costing this person like $75 to park because they didn't read the thing. And like the
That's their
information's
own
there and it's
doing.
2 sentences. Like,
Yeah.
here's the address and here's the parking information. Like,
You're pretty clear. Like you sent one out.
Super
Was
concise.
it yesterday or today? You sent the flyer out for the
Yeah.
show that we're doing on the 20th, and it was like very clear. And even in the first message, make sure you read the driving instructions clear.
okay.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like it's,
And it still happens where I think people's biggest
they're just moving
issue.
fast.
Yeah, I think one of the things that artists really struggle with the most, because they're all like, why am I not leveling up in my career? And it's like, well, you're not doing the bare minimum to get past level 1.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever play Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
remember
I was
how
big
like
into it.
each one is like you play 4 songs and then you get to go to the bigger venue.
Mm-hmm.
And some people keep playing these like the level 1 venues and they can't figure out why they can't go on. It's like you're not putting in the effort to deserve or like or earn the level 2.
Yeah. I
Like you
get
really
that.
do have to put that effort forward.
Exactly. But also, like, I'm a big believer, like, tangent on to, I'll shoot this into my artist career a little bit too, is like, I haven't shot to go to any of the big venues yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did do the Analog Room a couple years ago because I was asked when
Mhm.
Breaking Sound came in, and I actually just was filming for Julia last night, who I shared the ticket bill with on that, and that was an amazing experience. I think I did Live Oak once,
Right.
and then I've done a couple showcases with you,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't done the big band thing,
Right.
And there's a reason for that. It's like I only just got the album out,
Right.
like, and I've been doing music since 16 professionally,
It takes time
and it's like
to
it's
build
like,
that foundation.
It's like the foundation of what do you want, where are you going. It's like I got this rifle loaded up now of like
Of
all
what
this, what I can do.
I can go on the hunt.
Tell me where to shoot it.
Right.
Like, and it's like, I got to be ready to shoot it. And I'm only just now in a position where I can say, hey, I've actually got a couple extra rounds now. Let's just shoot a couple shots.
I don't remember.
We had a technical difficulty. I'm so glad that we tried this out today.
Me
Like,
too.
like-
Technical difficulties.
that's never happened.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll come right back with more with Chaz Mazzota on the Nashville Tour Stop podcast. And we're back with the Nashville Tour Stop podcast, episode number 123.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, baby. We've got Chaz Mazzota, I would say joining us, but I say I'm joining him in his studio here, down here in Nashville, Tennessee. But you are a entrepreneur yourself. You started a crack it, hit it, crack.
I know, I was thinking about it.
You started a company called Nashville Pop. Would you tell the listeners a little bit about Nashville Pop and what it does? I know I could go to the website and read it.
Yeah, no, I know we just ranted about that, but I can plug Nashville Pop.
Tell us about Nashville Pop.
So a little bit of preface real quick is like I am a content creator. I shoot a lot of video and photo for artists in town. Working with close to about 200 now, which is just nuts. But I created Nashville Pop. It's like a community it's a community and a home for all of my free resources. So it means like all of my information that I've gathered over the last some odd years, everything that I'm doing, and then it's just like wrapped up in a little bow. So it's content resources. It could be things from like social media guides, EPK guides. Like I have a Logic Pro demo template
that
cool.
You
can, and it's all free. So it's like if you don't know how to get into home recording and you want to do that, like you can download this template. It'll get you like 80% of the way. All you have to do is set up like how close do you want this mic, you know? So it's just like my way to kind of do that, simplify things in a structured format so I don't have to explain it a million times. But then it's also my way to sponsor events. So like how I sponsor with the Blue House guys at Artist Night, or I've done some stuff with Popville and a couple other. I've done some tour stop
Mickey
stuff.
Forbes,
like
right?
yeah, just like jumping around and giving myself a platform outside of me,
Right.
because like I'm doing my own music still, and I obviously have my own creative mind, but I wanted to take the tools that I have and give that.
This
So,
allows
like,
you to apply your knowledge to a different part of the industry.
correct. And honestly, it's like, and give people, a platform, more of a platform. So like we've got the Artist Night, we've got, which is every Monday. We do the Eddie Echo Show, which is seasonal. It's like,
Eddie Echo.
yeah, it's like a podcast. But we're doing artist Q&As and interviews, and then they do some live performances all on, video listening format. And so that's all free for artists. And then I do my spotlight,
Right.
which is every month I feature a new artist who's dropping new music.
And you do those with the barbecues and everything, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this summer we switched it up to make it more of like a cookout barbecue hang. It's a lot to do every month. So next year I'm actually restructuring it where I'm going to have just 4 of them.
Do it quarterly.
Quarterly, but they're all going to have a slightly different theme.
Cool.
And I don't like it to be, I know we're all here for the music, but I don't like it to be music.
It's not about the come watch this artist.
Correct. So
It's about the community.
It's about the community. Like my roommate Greg, like He's a freaking king. He smokes up all the meats. Like, he cooks up all the meats for everybody.
He
like
makes some good meats. I'm gonna make that Tim Allen sound.
Yeah, dude, the man sound. I swear, dude, it's great. And like, so we just cook that stuff up, give it to the artists. People hang out, have a good time. We have performances, but I keep it 30 minutes. So it's like we're gonna have the next one's coming up on the 22nd. And it's gonna be 3 artists, and they're each only just doing 2 songs. So it's like we don't have to sit there and listen for an hour. It's 30 minutes.
It's not about the music. It's just part of the
music is
barbecue.
the byproduct.
Yeah, it's a byproduct. Exactly.
Because I'm filming it, like we film it, we record it, and we release it. But it's really just there, like it's like a boom. Hey, here's an artist. Get talking to them. They sound pretty good. Like, and
that's great.
Also, like, how you doing? You want to get some food?
Yeah.
Or you want to grab a claw?
And then
upstairs.
people who are involved with the community get to see, like, I don't want to say like the bigger people, like they get to see the featured artists, and then if they're here and they're watching these people perform, that gives them the question of like, how do I do that? And the answer is, you're doing it.
You're doing it.
You're doing it right now.
Exactly.
I had somebody ask me that at a Tour Stop show last week. They were at the show, sitting at my table with me, and this guy goes, "So how do I play Tour Stop?" I was like, "You're doing it right now, man. Like the things that I consider when I want to book someone, like you're doing it. Like you're here. Like you can submit relentlessly on a contact form and get nowhere, but if you come and just say hey one time or 2 or those 3 times,
now
if
you do both."
Oh,
dude, when people
unknowable universe.
Honestly, I know you get a larger influx of forms than I do right now because you've grown a lot more. But I would tell you, man, when somebody fills out the forms, I am like, dude, you win, top of the line. Like
on my
that's
contact
like my secret
form,
sauce.
there's a section that said message us. Like it's for people to like write in like their bio or whatever. And in the message box, I see some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. And I also see some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. Like I just booked a girl without even listening to her music because in her bio like message that she sent me, it said, "I identify as a potato." And I was like, that's hilarious. I don't even no follow-up
I hope she
questions.
comes up as a sack. Like, in a burlap.
Yeah.
Or something.
I was like
you know?
It's like I'll bring my burlap too so we can be potatoes together. But it's like there's ways to be funny about it, but there are some people who are just they'll say like this is the message, and I'm like that doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Consider it like a job application.
Yeah.
Like
or
if you want to be involved,
too seriously though. Like there's some ones that'll be like, this person is pushing the boundaries of this, and I'm like, you're probably not.
ChatGPT wrote that bio.
Yeah, you're probably not pushing the boundaries of anything. Like, I can find you 20 people. Give me an hour, I'll find you 20 people who are exactly
who sound exactly like this.
Yeah. No offense to the music. It's like
we're all pushing the boundaries. We're all industry pushers.
Yeah.
There's nothing unique. Like I
unique,
hate even saying
just like everybody else
about hosting a writers round. Like Tour Stop inherently is just another writers round.
Yeah.
But the difference is all of the other stuff that goes along with it. It's not just the writers rounds.
Yeah.
And that's why
it's a community as well.
Yeah, it's the community.
Network.
It's the podcast. It's these ticketed shows, the elevated experiences. It's the networking events. It's like it's more than just this one
and the
thing.
Tours, you've done a couple tours now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do tour dates. Like it's more than just this thing. And that's what's important for people to remember with like with Nashville Pop is that it's not just the barbecue. It's not just the end all be all of I want to be the featured performer at one of these barbecues, these networking events. It's not that. It's about everything else. It's about the journey to the destination. It's not just getting to the destination.
It's like a path. It's like giving a path
right.
For somebody to follow. Because honestly, like even with like how often do you go on like I've tried to clean almost so much of it out, like music marketing TikTok or just music TikTok, right? Where it's like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Oh, like every artist is doing this. Try this new catchy thing. And it's like, boom. And it's like overload.
It's overstimulating for me.
And so many people I talk to and like, yeah, even me, it's like I'll get a million ideas from seeing something. It's cool. And it's like, I'm never going to do those ideas.
Right.
Guys, just like, That's why I love live sessions, right? It's like, just come record the freaking song,
Right.
get it out, and if people are vibing with it, people are vibing with it.
And then if they don't, write the next one.
Yeah, the girl who was here earlier, Mary Heather Hickman, plug, she's awesome, great performer,
Tour stopper.
dude. She came in on a whim once in the other studio
Mhm.
when it was in the other room, recorded a song that was 2 years old, and it went viral. Like, I'm talking like 5 million in the first day, and then it got up 15 million
That's
on some
crazy.
stuff, dude. Nuts. Just a live session, the same kind of thing that I do for every artist.
And
every
you never
day.
know which one's going to hit.
And you never know which one's going to hit. But you know what the difference is? She came in, she's like, I need to have a video for this thing that I'm trying to do. And I was like, cool, let's get it done. She wasn't like, oh, this is like my lifeblood. She's like, this is something that I need to do to move to the next step.
And it wasn't the genre bending. You're like, it was just a song.
Yep. And it's a 2-year-old song.
Yeah.
That popped off and people loved it. They just caught a vibe. And like, that's the idea, is like behind that stuff. The same thing happens with Zandy, who I've been going out on tour. I'm actually going out on this weekend. We're going to Oklahoma. Same thing. It's like, she'll come in, like, we've shot some stuff. We shot a video down in Harlansdale Farm once. 5 million views on TikTok.
Wow.
Like, and it's just like,
It can happen
it's
like
this
that.
microphone
Yeah.
in the
Can happen
field,
like that.
plugged in, the same thing that it's going to run through, same settings. Like, I don't tweak much.
No, it's
Like,
it's not a secret formula of high-end production stuff. It sometimes is just
good songs, good message, and obviously, like, it has to be digested right. So you
Right.
have to have the right channel to express it.
mhm.
So, like, yeah, you have to have a good look, a good song, and like, but just like a good vibe.
The
and a
same
good
thing that you're
setting.
going on here is one of the things that I have to warn artists who move to Nashville about, because they'll come in like, I have to play at every venue. And I'm like, you absolutely should not.
No.
Because like, you being a pop artist would probably not do good at a rock and roll honky tonk. Like,
Yeah, it's not my
that's
vibe.
not your vibe. And
Yeah.
you don't
I can't.
need those
I'd be
people.
caught dead at Alan Jackson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I like the
did
bar though.
I
do
did
like
some
the bar.
math for it, I think 2 years ago or something, with numbers from Drake, who I think it was 2022 was the #1 streamed artist on Spotify. And I did the math for it and compared that to like Nashville, and was like,
Mhm.
okay, if he's the most popular person on Spotify on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got whatever it was, 72 million monthly listeners, like, okay, if we can downsize that and like look at it as like, okay, if you're a person who has similar following in Nashville, like, okay, if we can do
Scale
all the
it,
math
yeah.
to get it down, it's like, okay, if you have 20,000 followers in Nashville, that means that you probably have people who would like your music in like 12 bars.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to play at every place
Mm-mm.
because your demographic of fans won't be there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really love country music, and as a result, I don't go to country music bars. And the bars that I do go to, the venues I do go to, I hear music that I like because we just gravitate towards these places where we find the things we're looking for.
And that's true too. It's like there's always another, and you see this all the time too. There's always another circle in
There's
Nashville.
always another
Always.
circle.
I built Nashville Pop because I thought, just circling right back into why we started this, but like I built it because like I didn't think anything was capturing the home that I feel like I
Mhm.
needed. And it turns out I was true. Like nobody was really capturing it. But now that I've built it, like all these little other pop circles and
You see
things
that
have started
happen.
to like
You
they haven't
become the
started to
leader.
come up, but they've been there. And I'm
Right.
just one of the fellow ones in there. I've been in it for a few. 2021 is when I started Nashville
Mhm.
Pop, but like I'm here now, and it's cool. It's like it's just cool to see all these different networks and how they can connect in together. But yeah, just making the platform. And,
So you started Nashville Pop in 2021, but you've been an artist in your own right for
yeah,
20 years now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Or-
well, I didn't put out my first original until 2017,
Wow.
so I
okay.
put that off for a long time. And
Well, tell me about the new
yeah.
record.
Yeah, so yeah, well, let's jump
You
right
just
in.
finished it.
Well, I finished. Yes, I finished it this year. So it's actually January 20th, beginning of the year. I got a really great deal through my buddy Ben to record over at Spellbound Recorders in
Mhm.
Lebanon. So like just right outside of town. The road to the studio on the day. So we did 8 cameras. I had a live studio audience, about 15
Wow.
people in the audience in the console booth, as well as the engineers, and then the whole Blue House band. So
Cool.
it was like, Tony, Alex, Trey, Nate, Jack, and
Mhm.
Kara. So in one background vocal. And then Alex Amato came and was running gimbal for me that day,
Sweet.
and the rest were on tripods. It was a whirlwind, dude. It was a mile up to the road, ice. So you had to drive on ice just to even get in there. It was nuts.
With that much gear, you're probably like, please don't crash. Please don't
Oh,
crash.
dude,
Please
yeah.
don't
I was
crash."
like, and I'm freaking out because like I'm top down producing the whole thing. Like I had people in places, but I needed another 8
Mhm.
people to be running that whole day.
Right.
Like, especially if like I'm the artist. Like, it's like, how am I thinking about all this stuff when I'm trying to like
When I'm trying to be the
sing
guy
my
on
heart
camera.
out? Like, I'm supposed to tell a story with a song in 4 hours, and I'm over here stressing over power cables. I'm like, what is going on?
And then you're in the middle of a take, and you're like, I should have been doing this other thing. There should be there should be somebody
Dude.
moving that camera over there.
If that is it, the first couple of songs, like, and like
You're trying not to direct
I'm
it
trying
while
not
you
to direct.
perform.
Yeah, the first few songs, I'm really trying not to like. I'm just trying to get out of my head,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm watching everybody in the room because I'm in the live room, and also like there's the pressure. It's like I'm always behind the lens, and I do get in front of it, but 90% of the time it's like somebody I knew. But I had Alex, which I've actually never really shot with him before. So the first couple of songs, he's like right up in my face, like with the camera
And
on
then
the gimbal,
your heart's like, oh,
and
oh,
so
you're
I'm
watching me.
and I'm processing all of this, and there's already 2 cameras on me, and I'm like watching the band, and I'm like sitting here like trying not to forget my lyrics, bro. It was intense. Like
Under pressure.
I was freaking out the whole time, the whole day. Not to mention it's like costing me a couple $1,000.
Yeah,
Because
it's a pricey day.
and then you got to get food and all. It's like I'm spending a lot. It's a lot of prep, and so everything's just going down at once. We did the whole thing one take live as a show. So it was like 58 minutes long. We tried to take back one song that everybody was feeling a little uncomfortable on, but we just said after we did it, we were like, no, we don't need it. We'll just roll with the original. But yeah, it was like 58 minutes long. We did 12 songs.
Wow.
We had one rehearsal. Some of them were new songs. 3 of the songs the guys had never played before.
I mean, that's
Actually,
also a testament to the Blue
5
House
of the
Band
songs-
and their talent.
the guys had never played before
They
until
are-
the day before.
They're just so good.
Yeah. And that's, in an ideal world, I'd love to produce them all out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have the time. Like, I have a studio in my basement, and I don't have the time. I've recorded 2 songs
Mm-hmm.
like this year, start to finish, like outside of the live
Right.
thing. That's it. Actually, I don't even think it was 2 songs. I think it was one full song, start to finish, in April, Good Times,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like half of another song. Like,
And it just takes so much time and effort and focus
focus, and
to do that.
it's like in the magic, right?
Mhm.
That magic and that energy that gets drained 24/7 doing the other things.
Right.
So I just said, fuck it, we're doing it live with the guys, and I pulled the trigger on it. We did the whole thing one day. Took me a hot minute to mix it and master it. I did it all myself, so it kind of took some time,
Mhm.
saving money, artist life. But I finished the project, and I was working with Bella, All She Wants, who was liaison with this company Vault, which was doing NFT music releases. And some stuff changed with that. So the project kind of it was originally supposed to come out back in like April,
Okay.
like Earth Day. I wanted to drop it, and I dropped Good Times instead.
Mm-hmm.
But so there were some holdups with Vault, and I wanted to get the whole push with everybody, and it just wasn't happening. So I just said, fuck it, let's just put it out. And I
Right.
just started dropping 6 weeks ago. So I'm dropping every Monday for 12 weeks, 6 weeks in. And it's cool, man. It's like, it's interesting to do it all live. And like 3 of the songs are songs that I've put out before. I just kind of
Right.
get them in a reimagined way. But the whole album, it's 12 songs, but it's really 4 EPs, 4 3-song projects,
Mm-hmm.
broken down. I call it the live studio experience. But the first one is like, it's called Life, Love, and War, and it's a song about each. And that's about a relationship with a girl that used to live in this very room. But we don't really see or talk about her much anymore. I wish her all the best. I just haven't seen her or talked to her. Yeah. Love you, baby. But the second EP was just kind of like this mix. I call it the wrong size box.
Okay.
And it's just because I don't really seem to fit into them. And I put these 3 songs together. One of them is like this song from like 2017 I wrote with a buddy of mine. I used to play it at writers' rounds all the time. It's all about like one night stand, you know, that whole vibe. And it's funny because I would always play it, and like I always get booked in these writers' rounds with like girls. It's like me, and then it would just be all girls, and I'll like play these songs about like a one night stand. And so like the guys will come up to me afterwards, they'll be like, "Bro, guts for that." I'm like, all the
Sorry,
girls
that was
seem
just
to
a
like
song
it.
that I played.
It's just a song I played, you know. And then the third EP was like, it's just the singles. It's the songs that are a little bit sadder,
Cool.
kind of post breakup songs. And then the last one is called Reimagine, 3 old songs. But yeah, dude, it's like, it's been a crazy project. It's all part of this bigger plot for, you know, what we talked about, setting the groundwork and having something. This is the first real tangible product that
Gotcha.
I've been able to give. And I say real tangible, I mean, as an adult.
This is step 1. Everything else leading up to now has been step 0.
Well, yeah, and they've set a great foundation, and they're a vibe, and it's pop stuff. But the stuff that's on the live album, that's like real. It's a band. It's
Right.
like life experiences. It's not like, oh, you hurt me and my feelings are sad. Like, F you, Taylor.
Right.
Like Taylor Swifty, kind of like, they're trying to be a little bit more mature, and some of it is still like goofy and fun, and it's me. But like, it's just like more of my life,
It's more authentic to you.
and it's more realistic. Like, for the next 10 years, I could play half of these. I could play these songs out.
That's awesome.
Like in bars for the next 10 years. Some of the songs that I had before, I can't.
Because they'll still resonate.
Yeah, they'll resonate, and you can pull them off with a band.
Right.
And not a track. Or acoustic. So that's kind of cool. It's like, I got this physical product. So now I'll get you into my big pitch of what it all became to be is, so what do you do with an album when it's done? It's like, oh, you put it up on Spotify. Oh, go listen to it. Like, there's not much, right? It's like, you have to have something to give to people and something that you can create this experience with.
People like to have things that they can hold on to.
Yeah, and I've never been like a merch person.
Right.
It's not really my MO, but people love when they have that connection, they want to do it. I've learned it a lot when I've been traveling with Zandy, is to see how much, like, when people connect, they connect.
They sure do.
Like, and they are,
And I mean, we probably all got those moments where you remember that there was some like communal like connection. Like, I remember a band that I think they're broken up now. They were called Jared and the Mill, but I saw them at a club up in Missouri, and like halfway through their set, they unplugged and just walked out, and everyone in the audience just stood in a circle around them. Like, I mean, I see that all the
freaking
time
vibe.
now, but 15 years ago when I saw that, I was just like, what is happening right now?
yeah, they just brought the entire room together.
Yeah. And it's
In the middle of a room that was already together.
Yeah.
How could you be even closer?
they made it even more special than it already was. And that's one of those things. It's like, I'll never forget that now.
Yeah.
And you can't just do that with here's the tracks and press play, and
It's hard.
It's
very
hard.
Yeah, like, you have to have the other 99 pieces of that puzzle.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, this is a red pill thing to say, but it's like a lot of it does depend on your looks.
Right.
Like, you've got to be able to portray that. Like, if you're looking for that surface level stuff, it's gonna be looks based. Like,
Because that grabs.
it grabs. You know, it's like looks and then the message.
Right.
Unfortunately.
We
But
live in the modern
there are
century.
people out
We
there,
understand.
we're breaking that pattern. You know,
Right.
we're breaking that pattern, and there's movements to break that pattern, but that's still how 80-90%
It
of
is
the world.
unfortunately just the way that it has always been.
But if you don't got it, you gotta.
Yep.
If you don't have that straight up like perfect look, I don't have it. But I can tell you what happens. You can dress me up a couple types of way, and all of a sudden, I never. This is funny. I
Secret.
never wore hats until you gave me that
Tour Stop hat?
that tour stop hat when you launched at the local.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I got that, and I have never been more complimented in my
Really?
life on my aesthetics. Like, I love that hat on you. Looks so good. Boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe I got hats. And now look at me. Do you see this?
You're a hat guy.
I'll put this on the.
You're a hat guy.
I have like, what is this, dude? I've never had that in my life. Well, I'm growing it out for next year for my Jesus year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just interesting. You can change a couple things, like, and it doesn't change my personality.
Right.
It's like I still have hair. I need a haircut, like, but you can change things, unfortunately, about you to make you more approachable and to make you like more socially acceptable. And I've had to
little
do it
things
for
that don't involve like
changing
you don't
who
have
you
to
are.
have 6-pack abs or really white teeth. You can change things as subtle as like I wear a hat now.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
like
quit wearing my hat all the time. And a couple of days ago, I was like, I have these hearing aids, and people came up to me and they're like, "How long have you been wearing those?" And it's like,
years,
15 years. They're like, "I never noticed."
Well, you got the cochlear.
I got the
like,
cochlear
3
2 years ago, but I've had hearing aids since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And people are just like, "Oh, I never noticed." And I'm like, well, yeah. It was like I changed one thing about myself and I quit wearing hats.
Yeah.
And like I started shaving every day, and people are all of a sudden like looking at me, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, little things like that. Who'd have thunk shaving? Deodorant.
Yeah. Oh, deodorant, yo. Please wear deodorant.
You can't smell that on Instagram, but you can smell in real life.
Special. Oh my god.
Little things you can do to make yourself feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'll never forget the cochlear thing because my mom.
Your mom's got one too. Yeah.
So I recognize when the day I met you, I was like, yo, that guy's got hearing ear.
Yeah.
And then when you were getting it, I was like, you should talk to my mom. She got it like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, yours is a much better version.
At a show at the East Room. Because it was before I had gotten mine, and she turned.
It was like the week before surgery. Or
yeah,
a couple days
she turned into mom.
Yeah, dude.
She's just like, it's gonna be okay, honey. And I was like, I needed to hear this.
I'll never forget not to get too personal, but the first time when she got the surgery, we were driving back in the car, and it was raining out, and she was like, "What is that noise?
Sound?
It was just rain on the freaking car," and then she was like, "It changed."
I've never heard this before.
Yeah, well, she had it as a child, and then she lost it.
Mm-hmm.
So she like, I can't imagine that shit.
Yeah,
it's just like to have it and then just lose it and then just like go the rest of your life with nothing, like until like your late 30s or 40s, or whenever she got it. I think it was in her 40s. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to age my mom too much.
How old's my mom? It's like, Mom, we're not going to out you on a podcast.
She's 25, yeah.
But yeah, it's actually it's been a really big change in my life being able to hear people. Who'd have thunk? I also didn't know my neighbors had dogs. I sure do now.
I bet you hear so many things you don't want to hear now.
Like, it's a blessing being able to hear again. Yay. But also, I'm so glad that if someone is being loud, or if I'm on an airplane and that baby is crying,
bro,
that is not my problem.
That's it, dude.
I can fall asleep anywhere. Just silence.
Bro. Well,
happy.
The only thing,
peace.
It's good for you. Bad for me when I was growing up. My mom, when she would get we'd get in trouble or some shit, or she didn't want to hear your argument. Boop. Take it right off. She'd say whatever she needed to say. Pop it right off.
You can't. And then you can't talk back.
She can still keep talking, and she won't hear a word you're saying. Dude, I grew up.
If I ever have kids, it'll be the same thing. It's like, you can run your mouth all you want, but you're not going to get anywhere with me.
Yeah, dude. She just take it off. You just know the game over. Don't even try.
Like, my hands are clean of the situation.
Yeah, dude. Can't hear you no more.
Well, dude. Chaz, I appreciate you so much for coming on the podcast. Tell me what's coming down the pipe for 2025.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end of the year here. It's fall now.
Dude.
Fall fell.
It is. It's happening. 2025 is going to be an interesting year, man. So, finally got my groove.
Sweet.
That's what it feels like, at least. Things are getting steady. So, with that album, I started doing, I'm big into Facebook ads.
Okay.
Big marketing guy, if you can't tell already. I started doing these exclusive releases for the album, and I created these USB lanyards. And so it's like a little USB stick, but it's like a card.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on a lanyard, really cool, has the album on it, and 10 of these like voice notes from the rehearsal recording. And, excuse me. Ooh.
Burp.
It's the claw coming through. But yeah, so I've got this cool lanyard, and I decided to run a Facebook ad, and it's a free plus shipping campaign. They call
Mhm.
it a fish campaign. And it basically just means like, hey, I'm gonna give you my album for free. All you have to do is pay shipping,
Gotcha.
shipping and handling. So, and I set that up. It launched on Wednesday. Running Facebook ads with the music videos, just running that too. And normally I'm very open. I keep it all the way out, all over the world. That's where a lot of my streams are. But I decided, I'm like, let's be realistic. I'm a local artist. My family's in Florida. I live in Tennessee. Let's focus on Tennessee and Florida for this project.
Hmm.
And so I've been running that ad. I've sold six.
Nice.
Six of them. Shipped them out into Florida so far. But the idea is every mailer, they get the album, I sign it, give them the whole thing. So it's memorabilia, you can feel it. And it only runs to people in those areas. I printed up these custom flyers, and it's all about it's 5 steps to hosting a house concert.
Cool.
And it's all for setting me up to do house concert tours, so I can come perform like the Cookout.
Right.
Essentially do that in your living room,
Mhm.
wherever I go. And that's the idea. And it's all donation based, and it's all like, so it's like just a little guide. It's an offer. And my idea is to just find people who are really resonating with my music and my vibe, and they want to host me for things.
Right.
So that way, when I go home for the holidays and I'm seeing my mom or I'm seeing my sisters, I can play some shows
Right.
and also like, bring a friend or two with me and say, hey, you guys want to open up for this little
That's cool.
house concert and make some real connections,
You're creating fans for yourself for basically for free or for very cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty much a break even in terms of like the $6 covers. It cost me about $4
Right.
to make that. It cost me about $2 to ship them with the UPS if I don't do the tracking, and then the mailers and stuff. So I do end up spending a little bit of money on the marketing side to find them. I'm okay with that, taking that hit.
That's what marketing is for. To
it
create
comes
a
back
customer that will then
yeah.
purchase the product that makes up for the cost of the ad.
Yeah, realistically, this is gonna be a really hard pill to swallow. Like, as an artist, if you're trying to grow your career and do any of this stuff, if you're not able to put a few $100s a month into your music, you're not really investing in your music.
Mhm.
Like, I look at Facebook ads, like people say, how do I get involved in ads? I'm like, minimum $150 a month, nonstop. Start it. Don't forget it.
Going.
It has to be happening. And if you can't make that commitment, you're either not ready or actually you're just not ready for it. Like, you have to make that commitment. It's giving up coffee.
Every big business and every successful business is constantly advertising.
Yep, you have to spend.
You can't hope that your customers are going to convert other customers for you.
Correct. And then the idea is like, you just got to be better at grabbing the bag when it comes. But yeah, so with that album, I'm pushing that whole thing, setting up a house concert tour, and even it's on my website right now. Like, the idea is like, there's a whole walkthrough on how you do it, how you host it, how you do all those things. And it's just designed to help me get around to the people. And in terms of like big shows, like we talked about, working up the system, my goal is really just to have one big show a year. If I'm pushing in 2 areas, so it'll be one show in Florida, one show in Nashville, and there'll be like the big shows, the ones that I'll actually, call out.
Still
say
doing stuff on the down low with like writers rounds every now and then, because you play for Tour Stop
yeah.
every now and then.
Well,
but they're not the ones that you're not gonna, like we talked about at the very beginning.
I'll send
you're
a text
not gonna
out.
spend that hey, come to my show.
Correct.
Every week.
I will tell my buddies, like I got a good group of 10 people that I can call up and say, hey, yo, let's go get some drinks tonight. I'm playing around. Like, Luke comes out all the time now. Greg comes out. Like, I try to get a couple people who are just rolling with, and if I can get some of the Blue House guys, I'll do that. But just depends on the vibe. We're all working every night. So, but if I'm going to do the ask, like, I want to do a big ask. I want to do it right. I'm going to do a big show. I mean, we do have a big show going on. I'm doing an artist feature on the 20th with Tour Stop, and that's going to be cool as well. But it's not going to be full band.
Right.
It's just going to be me doing the acoustic thing, which is still, there.
It's a big show.
It's there.
Because it's just you.
It's just me. But I'm talking big show as in, like, I'm going to have the band. It costs a lot
full
of money.
production. Right.
Like,
but those are really expensive endeavors.
Correct.
And you want to make sure that if you are going to, just like
I want to capture
marketing, like if you're going to put the ad dollars forward, you want to make sure that there's potential for some kind of a conversion, whether or not it be a place that I can play at again, that we'll see like, hey, you had 75 people come out to this show last time. Let's get you on a better night of the week or a better time slot. Maybe we can have 100 people come this time.
Exactly.
Like or like we can sell more tickets or up the ticket price. Like there's things that you want to be able to do like that.
Exactly. So like the listening room is a great example of like what we got coming up on the 26th. Like for me, it's like if I can get 10 to 20 tickets,
Mm-hmm.
that's a freaking great zone because
Mhm.
I'm playing an acoustic set. I'm doing like, the acoustic vibe. But if I'm going to go band, I want to pull 50 people.
Right.
50. I want to get 100 people. And I'm going to call my friends from out of town. I'm going to say, guys,
Like, this is really important.
this is my birthday.
Right.
Like if you want to spend time with me this year, like
This
we're
is the
doing it
one.
this week. It's like a wedding,
Right.
right? Like it's like
And people are willing to make a big endeavor like that once
you-
a year.
once a year.
Maybe twice.
Yeah. But as I said, like unless if you can do them that more often than that, it's great. Like I don't have that kind of pull and I don't have that kind of time
Mm-mm.
or just extra money to like make it. If I had an investor behind me that was just like, yo,
Go do it again.
pay the band, get it done. Like, but I gotta like when even when I was working with the band for my live session, like I was wheeling and dealing. Some of the guys I ended up working a day rate with. The other guys, like Tony, I did a bunch of work trades with him. He got a bunch of music videos out
Yeah.
of me. Like, and,
They're worthy investment.
worthy investment. Like, and I'm totally down to spend that time and we make those agreements and bargain and
You
barter.
want to make
on
sure that ROI is on the up and up.
correct. But yeah, you have to be smart and resourceful with this stuff. But it's definitely like it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, do you have any comments you'd like to leave listeners with this week before we get your plugs? This could be anything, man. But I always like to, because these conversations can go in so many different directions. I try not to drive
Yeah.
drive it in one way or the other. But is there anything that you didn't get to say that you've been wanting folks to know? For people who've never heard your music, what's the vibe? I mean, pop is the
Yeah,
genre.
I
but
mean-
what's the vibe, man?
Yeah, dude. So
What's your
for
elevator
people who
pitch?
haven't like, it's true. This whole episode has been like anybody who kind of nerdy knows who I am. But like, yeah, if you don't know who I am, dude, I'm just a regular guy. I'm hanging out. I love to just make everybody comfortable and have a good time. If you don't know me and my music, like I'm from the beach. Like I love the classic rock, 70s groove, 80s harmonies, like all that stuff. So if you're just like a fan of groove, anything that makes you kind of swing or just bounce around
Bob
a little
your head a
bit.
little bit.
Bob, yeah, just a bob. Like you're hanging out on the beach. Nothing that's gonna like amp you too hard, and it's not gonna bring you down.
Right.
But if you do listen to some of the lyrics on some of my pop stuff, you'll be like, "Why is this a sad song?" But it sounds like little
The
kids
happy
bop.
sad.
Yeah, and that's the point. It's like even when we're feeling down or something, it's just nice to acknowledge that it's a feeling. Like, yep, that's a feeling. I'm feeling that way. Like that happened in
You
this
convey
song.
that.
Yeah. But like if you put it up with some happy stuff,
Cool.
it'll turn that sadness into a little bit more happy.
Well, check out Chaz Mazzota online. Follow him on Instagram. Can you give us your plugs? Where can we find you online?
Yo, you can find me on the internet at
Napster, LimeWire.
Napster and LimeWire. No. You can find me exclusively at Target. Only on the
Only
shelves.
on shelves at Walmart.
Yeah, if you guys do like me and you want to find out more about me, it's at It's Chaz Mazzota, ITSCHAZMAZZOTA. Or if you want to check out Nashville Pop, it's nashvillepop.us. US. Yeah, check it out. Or chazmazzota.com, man. I'm on all the things.
I'll have all of that linked in the episode description as
There's
well.
a lot of Z's, so I hope we didn't put you all to sleep tonight. It's like
I've never thought about that.
every once in a while I can plug it. It lands like
That's a lot of Z's.
60% of the time it lands
I've never
every
heard
time.
that. Well, Chaz, thank you for coming on the podcast this week. Episode number 123 featuring Chaz Mazzota. You can follow Nashville Tour Stop on your podcast platforms. You can do me a huge favor. Click that subscribe button or follow or wherever you're at. Keep up with the things we're doing, places we're playing. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us everywhere at Nashville Tour Stop. If you'd like to come hang out with us at a live show, you can find our full live event calendar at NashvilleTourStop.com. But if you'd like to get involved with Nashville Pop or with Nashville Tour Stop, go to our websites. We've got information on how to get plugged in.
And forms.
But until next time, please do remember that all roads lead you right back here to the Nashville Tour Stop.